Charlie Munger, a világ egyik legsikeresebb befektetője, 99 évesen elhunyt. Charlie tanításai elképesztő módon formálták az én befektetésről való kialakult gondolkodásomat, és ezáltal nagyon sok mindent tudtam megtanulni tőle. Tegnap egyébként pont egy olyan videószkriptjén dolgoztam, ahol Charlie Mungernek a befektetési portfólióját fogjuk elemezni, és ezáltal egy kicsit jobban belelátunk az ő fejébe. Ettől függetlenül ebben a videóban szeretnék kellően megemlékezni a híres befektetőről, és egy pár bölcs gondolatát megosztani, amik elképesztően befolyásolták az én befektetésről való gondolkodásomat.
What happened in 73 and 74 when your investment firm lost over half?
Oh, that's very simple. That is very easy. And that's a good lesson. That's a good question. What happened is the value of my partnership where I was running went down by 50% in 1 year. And now the market went down 40% or something. It was a once in 30-year recession. I mean, monopoly newspapers were selling at four times earnings. And the bottom tick, I was down from the peak 50%. You're right about that. And that has happened to me 3 times in my Berkshire stock. So I regard it as a part of manhood that you're going to be in this game for the long pull, which is the way to do it. You better be able to handle a 50% decline without fussing too much about it. And so my lesson to all of you is conduct your life so that you can handle a 50% decline with aplomb and grace. Don't try to avoid it. It will come. In fact, I would say if it doesn't come, you're not being aggressive enough.
A huge majority of the business school teaching on the field of investment of passive portfolios of securities is not what we believe and not what Warren was taught years ago by Ben Graham. They're just little pockets of our attitude left. There's one at Stanford, Jack McDonald.
Yeah, sure.
And
that's graduate school.
It's graduate school. And what's interesting about that is I think it's the most popular course in the whole Stanford Business School. They've got some kind of a bidding system. And yet I asked Jack how he felt, and he said he felt lonely. He's got the most popular course, but in the whole professoriate dealing with investment matters, the Jack McDonalds are a little clan of their own in a side pocket, so to speak. Now they're right, and they can take whatever consolation they get from that. But mostly, if you go to business school, you will learn a lot of things we don't believe.
Yeah, Jack, Bob Kirby comes in and works with Jack sometimes too, and you couldn't. And Bob has got a terrific mind in terms of investment. So that, I mean, there's no question about that. It's not the easiest school in the world to get into, and it is at the graduate level. But there are these occasional little anomalies, as they would say, in the teaching world. I mean, what you really want a course on investing to be is how to value a business. That's what the game is about. I mean, if you don't know how to value a business, you don't know how to value a stock. And if you look at what is being taught, I think you see very little of how to value a business, and the rest of it is playing around maybe with numbers or Greek symbols or something of the sort. But it doesn't do you any good. I mean, in the end, you have to decide, whether you're going to value a business at $400 million or $600 million or $800 million, and then you compare that with the price, and that's what investing is. And I don't know any other kind of investing, basically to do. And that just isn't taught. And the reason it isn't taught is because there aren't teachers around, who know how to teach it. I mean, they don't know themselves. And since they don't know themselves, they teach something that says nobody knows anything, which is the efficient market theory. And if I didn't know how to do it, and if I ever teach physics, I'm going to come up with a theory that nobody knows anything, because it's the only way I can get through the day, But it's fascinating to me how the really great universities operate in this respect. If you get a sacred writ, I mean, you get in the finance department because you sign on, to whatever the present group thinks. And if they think the world is flat, you better think the world is flat too, and your students better answer that the world's flat when they get on exams. I would say investment, finance teaching in this country is in general, is kind of pathetic.
Well, I think the business schools do a pretty good job when it comes to accounting,
sure.
or personnel management, or there are a whole lot of subjects I think they do quite well with, but they miss one enormous opportunity. If you learn to think intelligently about how to invest successfully in businesses, you'll become a much better business manager than you will if you aren't good at understanding what's required for successful investment. So they're missing a huge opportunity to improve the management profession by doing such a lousy job in teaching investment.
Yeah, see, Charlie and I see CEOs all the time who in a sense don't know how to think about the value of businesses they're acquiring, and then so they go out and hire investment bankers, and guess what? The investment banker tells them what to do. It tells them to do it because they get 20x if they do it and X if they don't do it. And guess how the advice comes out? So it's when a manager of a business feels helpless, which he won't say out loud, but inwardly feels helpless in the question of asset allocation, you've got a real problem. And they have not gone to business schools that have given them any real help, I think, in terms of learning how to think about valuation in businesses. And that's one of the reasons that we write and talk about it some, because there's a gap there.
Charlie, it was very interesting to me when I first met Charlie. He had a number of clients. His father had a number of clients, and he had thought about the businesses of each one of those clients probably in a much more perceptive way than most of them have thought about them themselves. I mean, he was incapable of not thinking through what the realities of the situation were, and what could be done about it, and he just analyzed things.
What would work and what wouldn't, and why. It's so simple.
So what are a couple of those early investments that were reflective of this new philosophy of buying really good companies?
Well, in terms of stocks, something like American Express would have been that had gotten some trouble, but it was a wonderful business. And there were some others that, in terms of buying the entire business, I probably didn't realize what a wonderful business our first insurance purchase was, but I knew it was a good business. The first real business we bought that way was See's Candy. I mean, it was really an outstanding business, and I still had enough elements from my past that I really didn't want to pay the last few $1 million, and
Few million, you didn't want to pay the last 25,000.
Yeah, and Charlie reminded me that I was slipping back into the Stone Age again, and got me to move.
So let's talk a little bit about your philosophy of managing companies. Berkshire Hathaway does not buy companies that have bad managers, right? Which is a little bit unusual. I mean, a lot of people like to buy good companies with bad managers and then replace them.
We tried.
You don't do that.
We tried it, and with the predictable results. And life is so much more fun this way too. I mean, who wants to spend their life trying to change people from their natural approaches?
If you want to ruin your life, spend it trying to change your spouse.
Yeah,
It's really stupid.
yeah.
It's just...
Marrying somebody to change him is crazy, and I would say hiring somebody to change him is just as crazy.
Yeah.
And becoming partners with them to change him is crazy.
Warren had always used a phrase I really liked. He said, "We make silk purses out of silk."
Yeah, forget the sow's ears.
We don't know how to make silk purses out of sow's ears.
Never will.
I'm extremely happy and content. What's your secret to lead a happy life?
Well, I always say the same thing. Realistic expectations, which is low expectations. if you have unreasonable demands on life, you're like a bird that's trying to destroy himself by bashing his wings on the edge of the cage, and you really can't get out of the cage. It's stupid. You want to have reasonable expectations and take life's results, good and bad as they happen, with a certain amount of stoicism. There'll never be any shortage of good people in the world. All you got to do is think them out and get as many of them as possible into your life. And keep the rest of the hell out.